The star of The Real Housewives of New Jersey is not unfamiliar with the world of drama. On the other hand, she is typically the one that emerges victorious due to her boisterous voice and New Jersey attitude. However, the shocking teaser for the upcoming second season of House of Villains shows that she may have at long last encountered her equal. If you want to know everything, keep reading. Release date and cast list for the second season of House of Villains. On the inaugural season of House of Villains, 10 of the most prominent reality stars were selected to participate on the show and were placed in living quarters together in order to compete for the $200,000 cash prize and the title of America's Ultimate Supervillain. The celebrities, including Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules, were required to perform numerous challenges on a weekly basis. What are the 10 reality stars that will be competing in Season 2? Flavor of Love by Tiffany Pollard, also known as New York, the challenge presented by Wes Bergman. The Real Housewives of New Jersey has Teresa Giudice as a cast member. Known as Big Brother, Jesse Godder's Richard Hatch. The living survivor The Bachelor's Victoria Larson is up next. Known as 90 Day Fiancé, Larissa Lima on the show RuPaul's Drag Race, Candy Muse in the film Bad Girls Club, Camilla Poindexter Love and Hip Hop. Atlanta Safari is a song. Peacock will continue to broadcast the episode the next day after it has aired on the E! Network. Us Weekly reports that the opening of Season 2 will consist of 2 episodes that are not to be missed. These episodes will show on Wednesday, October 9, and Thursday, October 10, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. There is no recognition from Teresa Giudice, model of Superlatives, as rumors of a remake circulate. The future of Teresa Giudice's role on Real Housewives of New Jersey remains uncertain. Nevertheless, her followers will still be able to watch her in the upcoming season of House of Villains. When it comes to other famous people, the reality star has a lengthy history of not knowing them. In the promotional video for the second season of House of Villains, Teresa Giudice and Janice Dickerson, a former supermodel, have a confrontation that is both awkward and uncomfortable. Janice has appeared on a large number of reality television series. During the second season of America's Next Top Model, the judge makes an appearance. Nevertheless, Teresa appears to be completely unaware of who she is. Janice Dickerson is seen in the clip asking the Real Housewives of New Jersey star, "Don't you know who I am?" In a reality television vet, a reality TV star meets her match. It's not just the original supermodel that Teresa Giudice has a relationship with when she's in the home. Contestant Tiffany New York Pollard, who competed in the first season of The House of Villains, is back for another attempt to win the competition. In spite of this, it is possible that there is only room in the house for one flaming reality TV celebrity. At one point in the clip, the star of The Real Housewives of New Jersey makes fun of the star of Flavor of Love by saying, "Now I know why they got rid of you in Season 1. Not just any plate, the kind you'd expect to find at a Jersey family dinner. White ceramic with a faint gold rim, trembling slightly against a glossy table as if it remembers another life, another famous afternoon. A hand, perfect nails, thick bracelet, hovers over it, then withdraws. We don't see the face yet. We don't have to. The camera knows the geography of her silhouette like America knows the contours of the moon." A title card slashed in black lacquer. House of Violins. A second card arrives like a dare. She's here. Cut to Teresa Giudice in a crimson blazer the color of resolve. The room she's standing in looks like a luxury hotel designed by a comic book supervillain. Velvet shadows, mirrored corridors, chandeliers that drip like icicles. Somewhere, a slow bassline murmurs under the audio, heartbeat, threat, promise. The editors hold on a close-up long enough to let the fandom cheer and the skeptics smirk. Teresa looks dead into the lens, mouth soft, eyes like flint. "I don't start trouble," she says, "but I finish it." The beat hits. The screen fractures into a deck of quick, taunting flashes, confessionals lit like interrogation rooms, glittering cocktails trembling on silver trays, a gauntlet of challenges that look like party games if party games were engineered by a Bond villain with a sense of humor. And threaded through the chaos, there she is, Teresa, hair glossy, steps deliberate, walking like someone who's had the world trip her and still shows up in heels. The voiceover, smooth, omniscient, purrs, 10 icons, 1 layer, 0 apologies. You don't need a refresher on the Giudice myth, it's in the American water. Teresa baked her name into the reality TV lexicon the day she introduced the concept of narrative punctuation via tableware. For some, she's Jersey's patron saint of family-first loyalty. For others, a storm in full glam who never met a fuse she didn't test. Either way, her presence on a show called House of Villains is either destiny or provocation. Maybe both. The trailer knows it. It leans in. We get the first bit of villain house geography. An opulent foyer built like a chessboard, black and white tile daring you to pick a color and live with the consequences. A staircase curves upward toward a mezzanine lined with portraits. Oil paintings in the style of old money. Except if you look closely, each portrait is slightly wrong. A smile too sharp, a hand reaching toward a crown, a glass of champagne that's about to spill. The set is a joke about power and a joke about the joke, and Teresa smiles like she gets it. "Welcome to the lair," says a host voice, never shown in full in the trailer, just cufflinks and smirk. The games are simple. The alliances are not. There's a quick montage of the other villains, faces familiar to anyone who's ever fallen asleep, with a Bravo/MTV/E afterglow humming across the room. The edit is careful. You glimpse silhouettes and cocked brows, single syllables of names that cut off right as you think you've placed them. The message is clear. You think you know who everyone is. You think you know who Teresa is. House of Villains is here to test your certainty like a smoke alarm. Cut to the first confessional. Teresa sits on a throne-like chair, upholstered in a red so dark it might be a warning label. She leans forward, elbows on knees, not confrontational so much as conversational. "People think I'm hot-headed," she says, lacing her fingers. "I'm passionate. There's a difference. Passion builds, heat burns." Somewhere, a producer asked her to give them a soundbite. She gave them a thesis. Now the trailer starts feeding us sauces and sizzles. A silver tray arrives, under its dome, not food but a sealed envelope in black wax. The hand reaches, not Teresa's, another villain. The wax cracks like a tiny gunshot. Inside, a card that says nominate. We don't see the rest, but we see faces react, eyes ping-ponging across the room as if the word itself can choose them. In the next beat, the group stands in a semicircle facing a marble fireplace that contains no fire, only a display of glittering game tokens. The effect is equal parts ritual and roast. A voice says, "Consensus is a myth in this house," and someone answers, "Good." My favorite thing to break. A slow pan lands on Teresa. She doesn't blink. "Look," she says, "I've been in rooms with women who'll twist a smile into a knife. I survived that. I'm not scared of candles and a vote." If the season's theme is meeting your match, the trailer starts to press on that idea like a bruise to see how deep it goes. In one scene, Teresa stands opposite a rival whose energy is unnervingly calm. No arm waving, no volume, just the kind of patience that can feel like a trap. The camera loves the tableau, two matadors, each waiting for the other to misstep, each certain she won't. "You think you're the only tornado?" the rival asks, smiling the way a cat might smile at a new laser pointer. "I'm not a tornado," Teresa says. "I'm weather." The editors know a wall-scorching moment when they hear it. The line echoes over an entire section of the trailer, a drumline of glimpses in which Teresa is both player and prize. She stacks wine glasses with unnerving steadiness during a speed challenge. She leads a whisper parade down a gold leaf hallway, palms pressed to other villains' shoulders, conspiratorial as communion. She tangles a key from a ribbon over a pool shimmering like liquid emerald. She laughs, full-throated, unashamed, when someone tries to bait her and she refuses the hook. And then comes the first real crack. The music thins to a violin string. Teresa sits on a velvet banquet, voice low, eyes shiny, not with tears, not yet, but with that sting you get right before you decide to tell the truth or tell the room to get out. "You can call me a villain," she says, "but I don't play with people's kids. I don't play with people's parents. There's lines." That's the thing about Teresa's brand of villainy. She's not the masked prankster or the chessboard ice queen. She's a lioness who learned early that the lair is only worth defending if there's pride inside it. The trailer knows this too. It keeps flicking you between the two Teresas. The one who can weaponize a stare, and the one who keeps her family names wrapped like heirlooms around her fingers. We get the first banishment ceremony tease, a circle lit like a ritual, candles throwing everyone's secrets up on the walls. Tokens are dropped into a bowl that looks like an art piece and feels like a maelstrom. The host's voice is silk. The contestants' voices are gravel. Teresa is silent. The camera counts her breaths. You want to count them with her. The cards flip. Names emerge. The last name sits on the tip of the host's tongue as the music cuts like a cliff. "Who do you think it is?" the voiceover asks, taunting you and itself. Now the trailer returns to its thesis. Teresa Giudice meets her match. It delivers on the promise in ways obvious and sneaky. Obviously, in the scene where she finally squares off with someone who can match her stare for stare, syllable for syllable. Sneaky, in the moment a quiet player outmaneuvers her not with a shout, but with a whisper, shifting a vote 2 degrees left while everyone's eyes were on the chandelier. The rivalry the edit wants you to watch is the loud one. The rivalry that might actually break your heart is the one that looks like friendship until it doesn't. Teresa's confessional returns. "I respect strength," she says. "If you're strong, I'll meet you there. If you're fake, I'll meet you there too." The smile is not friendly and not unkind. It's the smile of a woman who knows her own capacity for thunder and refuses to apologize for the rain. What the trailer never says out loud, but paints in neon, is that this show doesn't just pit villains against one another. It pits reputations against revelations. Your favorite chaos agent might finally get a hug from the edit. Your cherished anti-hero might reveal a softness that makes you want to flip your own table at the memory of how you've labeled them. Teresa's match, the trailer implies, isn't only an opponent, it's the camera itself. Can it resist flattening her into a headline? Will she resist being flattened? There's a house meeting scene, the first one where the words get spicy enough to fog the lens. It starts with a chair scrape. It escalates with a laugh, one of those disbelieving, high, thin sounds people make right before they say the most honest thing they've said all season. Teresa stands. A rival stands. Hands hover over wine, stems like they're emergency valves. Someone says, "Say it with your chest." Teresa does, or she doesn't. The edit refuses to tell us which. The trailer is a masterclass in almost everything. Just when you think you've got the rhythm, the sound design drops you into something silly and sinister. A midnight challenge in the backyard under floodlights. Contestants forced to retrieve keys from a maze, while other contestants pelt them with foam daggers that leave temporary splashes of glitter on their clothes. It's ridiculous and thematic perfection. Teresa sprints like a woman who jogs on vengeance and espresso. A foam dagger catches her shoulder. She doesn't break pace. She laughs like the ground just lost a bet. And then, because it's a villain's house, not a hero's field, the trailer shows you the trap disguised as hospitality. A dinner, long table, flowers are so lush they're practically carnivorous. A script of cheers that turns into a semi-legal deposition. The topic is loyalty, that sugar-rimmed razor blade. Teresa tilts her head. The universal sign for "I can take this" or "I can take this." She chooses. The screen cuts away before you know which knife she picked. Between the spectacle, the trailer slides in puzzle pieces of something gentler. Teresa in the gym, hair pulled back, focused like a monk's, counting reps in whispers. Teresa by a window at dawn, city twinkling below, expression complicated, the look of someone who's measuring the size of a fight against the size of the life she's built beyond it. Teresa at a vanity, tapping a powder brush against the edge like a metronome. Beat, 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 before setting it down and exhaling as if to say, let's give them a show that doesn't eat my soul. The trailer wants you to anticipate the storm. It also wants you to wonder whether the storm can evolve. Villains, the host voice intones over a slow-motion parade of cast members entering the lair, in gowns, suits, and smugness, aren't born. They're crowned. Teresa steps into frame. She doesn't reach for the crown. The crown seems to find her anyway. Careful, she says, smiling with all her teeth, those things are heavy. Is the crown heavy, or is it her measured refusal to grab it that makes it look light? The trailer, like any good tease, refuses to answer. It just keeps dangling the question. Can a woman who has been both hurricane and harbor be out-villaned? Or is her match less about a person and more about a house designed to bottle chaos and sell it back to us? One clip answers with muscle memory. Teresa in a standoff, her voice steady, her hands quiet, her words precise as needlepoint. You play with me, play fair, she says. Don't smile to my face and then feed the house stories in the pantry. It's not a shout, it's a scalpel. The set designer must have bent a gold fork in half when that line hit the room. Another clip suggests the match might be kindness. In a whisper in a hallway, Teresa tells a shaken castmate, don't let them make you smaller. It's a strange, tender echo in a mansion built for mischief. It's also a flex. Good villains know when to comfort the enemy. Great villains can comfort without calculation. The trailer is either forecasting a redemption arc or baiting you into expecting one. That's the game. That's always the game. As the final minute pulses, the edit goes full theme park. Lights blink, music snaps from slink to stomp. We get the season's iconic line in a series of beeps so you can still play it on daytime TV. And right as you brace for a plate, the camera pulls back to that original table. It's the same plate from the first shot, still intact, still a warning, still a possibility. Teresa picks it up, not with the grip of a woman aiming for a viral clip, but with the gentle attention of a person checking the weight of a decision. She tilts it, light glides across the gold rim. She sets it back down, perfectly aligned with the placemat, and turns, chin lifted, toward the inevitable sentence the house is about to write. If you're looking for the old me, she says, you might miss what I do next. The date splash lands, blurred under our breathless pulse, because the trailer knows you'll Google before it's even gone. The logos gleam, the constellation of networks and streamers that will deliver this glitter-dipped battle royale to your couch. Somewhere in your chest, a small, amused anxiety stirs. The internet will have opinions before the theme song even finishes. New alliances will be shippers before the second episode. Someone will decide a pasta bowl was foreshadowing. But for now, it's just the promise. Teresa in a lair built to break and make legends. A house with a wicked sense of humor. A match she might lose, or win, or redefine so completely that the concept becomes obsolete. The trailer fades. Your heart rate slows. You can almost hear the hush before the Livewire season begins. And stray thoughts start to bloom. What if her match isn't a nemesis but a mirror? What if she discovers she's more strategic when she's quiet? What if kindness, deployed with precision, turns out to be the sharpest weapon? What if the plate never flies because the mind behind it does? In the seasons that made her famous, Teresa often broke the room to make a point. In this trailer, the room looks engineered to break first. Maybe that's the most villainous move of all, refusing to give the mansion the mess it begs for, and forcing it to become a stage your power can share but not define. Or maybe it will be a glorious train wreck, the kind that only a handful of reality TV titans can deliver. Brilliant, brazen, maimed into immortality by midnight. Either way, House of Villains has put its chips on the table and slid one your direction with a wink. Teresa has sat down without blinking. Across from her sits someone patient, smiling, claws retracted but sharpened. Match? The house purrs. Maybe, Teresa says, and the camera loves her for it. Somewhere in Jersey, a cabinet in a beautiful kitchen is full of plates that will never know what hit them. Somewhere in the villain lair, a table waits, gold rim, white face, a tiny moon on a black and white floor. Maybe it stays whole, maybe it sings. Either way, the line has been drawn, not in sand, but in marble. Teresa Giudice is not just in the house. She understands the house. And that, more than any flipped table or soft smile, is what makes her dangerous. That is what makes meeting her match a story worth tuning in for, week after delicious, dreadful, devorable week.